Former Ontario Premier and Education Minister Kathleen Wynne says she is very worried about the government's position of informing parents if their child changes genders or pronouns while at school. She said, I really think that this is a wrong-headed policy and I think it could put children at risk. I think it's a very dangerous path and I really don't think this is about safety of the kids that these politicians are worried about. I think they are pandering to a particular portion of the population who haven't really thought through what is going on with these kids. The comments come a day after Progressive Conservative Education Minister Stephen Lecce said he believes parents must be fully involved if their child chooses to use different pronouns at school. During an ethnic media roundtable conducted by Minister Lecce, when asked about why media on whether parents should be informed of child's pronouns change, Minister Lecce said it is very crucial for parents to get involved. He said, I think we understand though that parents must be fully involved and fully aware of what's happening in the life of their children. He also said that he is very concerned with the normalization of illicit drugs. Listen to what he has to say during the ethnic media roundtable.
The $700 million investment we put in place for September. With that said, my position, I think, is reflective of, I think, a lot of parents, which is the overwhelming majority of parents. I mean, look, these parents live for their kids. They love their kids. They want to support their children. I believe in my heart that engaging parents so that they can support their kids, keep them physically, mentally healthy is important. I don't want scenarios where parents feel like they're not aware of what's happening in their child's life, especially if there are health implications. So I believe in empowering parents, respecting their rights as the legal guardians. And I come at this from a different position. I really do believe they'll want to do the best thing for their kid. Of course, there are exceptions, right? In the sense that there can be, we may know examples where, sometimes kids don't come from a loving home, and I know it's not the majority, it's the overwhelming minority, but you never know. And I'm sensitive to that. And so the school boards have well-established protocols that if, God forbid, they feel like there's risk at home, they know exactly what to do to prevent that. But for the overwhelming majority of families and parents, they want to support their kids. They need to be engaged in their kids' lives. We're talking about young kids, elementary, high school. These are young, impressionable children. And I think they should have the support and love of their families throughout their entire learning journey. And that's why we made our position known. And it also speaks to what we're trying to do globally, which is getting back to basics, focusing in our schools about, academics, helping these kids succeed. I mean, yes, they've got to be respectful, safe schools, inclusive schools, of course. But we also need these kids to graduate with skills. They need to know how to read and write and be mathematically competent. They need to be able to apply their knowledge in the economy. And I think if we focus on that, we respect parents, and we continue to emphasize, schools that every child, no matter who you are, could be themselves. And frankly, I think our society would be much better off. Okay, it's a very important question because, ever since the federal Liberals legalized cannabis, we've seen an increased usage of marijuana among young people and vaping as well. Ontario was the first province in the country. It was the first curriculum I updated as your minister, mandating knowledge in Ontario's health and physical education curriculum with respect to learning about the negative and long-term impacts of cannabis and vaping. We were the first jurisdiction to mandate learning to discourage the utilization of cannabis, vaping, tobacco. All of this is important, and we've led the way in this respect. Now, you mentioned the decriminalization of illicit drugs. We're talking about very serious drugs. I will just say on a personal level, I'm very concerned about the rise of use of illicit drugs and the normalization of illicit drugs. But we cannot normalize the usage of serious drugs that have long-term impacts and health impacts on people. I think our emphasis needs to be on recovery and helping people who may have addictions seek access to recovery services. that's I think is what I can